Hey y'all, I am coming back from my cross stitch retreat at Brick City Cross Stitch this last weekend. And while I was there, someone mentioned that they tried to search for things to bring to a retreat. And I'm not talking like clothes, obviously, or even like, I don't know, like your normal everyday stuff, like medications, all that stuff. Not talking that, but strictly stitchy. So this is specifically for a cross-stitching retreat or embroidery, needle arts retreat. What to bring. So I am going to unpack my bag and I'm just going to show a little bit, maybe talk a little bit about each product that I've brought or used while I was there. So as I unpack my bag, I will kind of show you what I brought and ideas for bringing in the future. So there might be some crinkling and stuff because I'm unzipping bags and just kind of showing a little bit at a time. The first thing that I brought was, I actually brought a scroll rod. Now, if you have a big project on a scroll rod, I would not recommend bringing anything bigger than this because there's usually about 5 people at a table. Sometimes you're at a long table, and sometimes you're just at a circle table, and there's not typically too much space. So I wanted to see exactly what was, I don't know, the limit, I guess, for what to bring. I'm going to grab a tape measure because I forget how big this is. This scroll rod from nut to nut or whatever screw is about 23.5 inches, so it's probably a 24-inch scroll rod. I brought this. This is my scroll rod. This is my normal setup. I use these magnetic cable ties to hold them, obviously my needle minders, and then this scroll rod. So I wouldn't recommend bringing anything bigger than this. You can like set it on the table, like rest it on the table and then, you know, stitch. If you do two-handed stitching, you can rest it on the table and then, you know, grab. But I ended up bringing a lap frame and I highly recommend it. I will, when I pull it out of my bag, I'll show you exactly what it is and all the details and stuff. So 24-inch scroll rod, that's about as big as I would bring. Next, projects. I brought 1, 2, 3. Okay, I brought 4 projects. I brought my Twisted Rainbow sampler on the scroll rod. If you're working on black, I highly recommend a light box. So this is really thin. Here, I'll take it out. This is the A4 size, and I'll post a link. This is what it looks like. Look how thin it is. So this is really lightweight. You can rest it on the table, stitch, you know, have your stitch kind of hovering over it or using a lap frame like I did, or you can rest it in your lap. This one plugs in, it's micro USB and turns on right here. It's just on and off, so it's only one brightness setting, but it's very bright. I rest this on my lap, and then I have this in the either lap frame or resting, like hang over the table a little bit so that I can see the holes underneath. So you see how when you see the light, you can kind of see the holes a little better. That's the same thing for using a light box. So I brought my light box. This has a USB plug end. And so what I do is I bring a halo bolt This is a halo bolt. It has plug for jumping your car, so it's like an emergency. It has the standard plug, and then it has 2 USB ports, and you turn on each one separately. I found that when using the actual plug, this drained really fast. It did not last a whole day when using the plug. When I used the micro USB, when I used the USB plugs, it lasted probably about, I don't know, 3/4 of the day maybe. It didn't last the whole day. And I had an iPad and a Kindle Fire plugged in. I was letting Patty charge her iPad, and so it died pretty quickly. But I also use a couple other, let me see, where did it go? I also have these. We live in Florida, and so when we get hurricanes, we have these external battery packs for our devices. This one is a Belkin. It's very thin. It's pretty lightweight compared to this one. This one has 10,000 mega amps, MAH, whatever that is. And then this one is really heavy. Like, you could probably knock someone out with this sucker. This one is this one doesn't say, 5 volts, 2.4 A max. So I don't remember. I'll have to look this one up if I can find it. This one is my charge. This thing is super heavy. This one is really easy to plug your light box in and just kind of sit them on each other, and they sit right next to each other and stay on. So I highly recommend this Belkin. It lasted a long time. So external battery packs, a must for a retreat. Other things, I brought a light. I didn't use it at all. The retreat had really good lighting, but if you've never been and you really need light for your stitching, I highly recommend getting this spotlight. It's very bright, and it's rechargeable. So the first retreat I went to, I didn't start off with a light. I ended up going out and buying this one so that I could have it at my table because I really needed a light. And it didn't last all day. So again, use the external battery packs. It has a USB charger. I just recharged it using my external battery pack. And it's actually brighter when it's plugged in, so there's that too. If you don't want to, use the rechargeable feature and you want to keep it plugged in, you can use it on the external battery pack. It will light when it's plugged in. So it's not one of those kinds that has to be rechargeable. Okay, so light, lap stand. This is a Kay's Creation lap stand. I like to use it on my left side. I stitch left on top, right hand on the bottom. So I kind of rest it on here. See if I can show you what it looks like. So I rest it on the table or I rest it on my lap. Ooh, sorry, totally wobbly. And then I just stick this fits Q-snap, scroll rod, and hoops. And then you can adjust it towards you, away from you, higher, lower. You can, this you can adjust and flip it around so that you can tuck your stitches, flip it right back up. So I highly recommend this one. It was perfect for the retreat. I actually could fit this entire scroll rod on the arm. So I stuck it in there and I was able to stitch with my lap frame. It did take up a bit of space, so that's why I would say don't bring anything bigger than a 24-inch, because otherwise you might be encroaching on your neighbor. My best friend came with me and she was to my right and it was a little bit in her face. So yeah, nothing bigger than that. I brought 4 projects with me. So if I got bored with one, I did about 2. I went for 2 days and I did 2 each day. So about halfway through the day, I swapped projects. It just kind of keeps it refreshing, I guess, so you don't get burnt out on one project being there the whole day. Something I want to show is this Nerge hoop. So this is a square hoop. It is thin. Here, I'll measure. I'm gonna say it's like a centimeter. Yeah. It's 1 centimeter thick. It has the tongue and groove, so the fabric stays pretty taut. It's lightweight, perfect for if you're having to hold it. I got this large size, pretty sure. They have extra small, small, medium, and large in this Nerge hoop. And it's perfect for when you're doing like a very square piece instead of like in a round hoop, so you don't have to move it as often. This one fits my Let's Talk stitching perfectly. It is, so the inner dimensions, it's about 11 3/4 by 10 3/4. So like space from here, from the edge to edge is 10 3/4, top to bottom is 11 3/4. Overall dimensions from the very tip, 13.5 by 11.5. So 13.5 from the very tip here to here, and 11.5 from here to here. I really am enjoying this hoop. I just got it not too long ago. Again, it's a Nerge, and I'll link everything. They have a couple different colors. You can buy them on Amazon. I think I've seen them in a couple other places, but not too many shops have them for sale. Okay, so what did I bring in my project bag? Each one, I have, I can't show you that one. This one has pattern. Don't look at the pattern. My floss. And then I have a cross stitch clutch in each of my project bags. That way when I swap out the project bags, I can just have my clutch. It has thread wax, scissors, needle minder, and then thread catcher. Other things that I throw into my cross stitch clutch, I have some thread tuckers, counting pins, thread tuckers, which if you don't know what a thread tucker is, it helps you pull the strands underneath your existing stitches in the back. And then I have a snag nabbit, and this is what I have in each of my cross stitch clutches. That way, when I pull out a project, it's all right there. I did just try out a thread hopper, which helps you count. And for me, working on like the higher counts when I'm doing 2/2, it really helps to keep me in check, because sometimes I like to do only a half when I'm counting. So yeah, so each project has a clutch, my colors, and then the pattern. This one is for my rainbow sampler, so the actual stitch doesn't fit in the bag. But for the other ones, I have my Q-snap, my pattern, my clutch, and everything is in there. This one is a recent. I just made this one. I made everybody matching project bags that went with me to the retreat. So we all got project bags, and then I put everyone's name. This one is a galaxy, so you can't really see it, but it says Stephanie. But everybody had vinyl names on their bags, and each one was like their favorite color. So Sheila had green, Patty had a bright blue color, and then Leah had a like turquoise, not turquoise, like a dark teal glittery color. So other things, so I brought my tablet for Pattern Keeper, for the patterns that I use Pattern Keeper. I brought my stitching journal, but I didn't write in it at all. I didn't end up tracking any of the stitches, so that was fun. Another thing that I bring, I have this little stand for my tablet. This helps me to keep it up on the table so I can see exactly what I'm working on, instead of having to look down, and you know, like if it was flat on a table, I can keep it upright. I can do it that way or this way. It's a fairly light stand, and like if you touch it, it doesn't do a whole lot of wobbling. It's very sturdy. So I'll link this one too. I really liked it. Other things, I brought my standard chargers for like, don't forget your chargers. I brought my phone charger, my tablet charger, so don't forget those. I bought this like little pattern clip, and I ended up not using it. I ended up just sticking the patterns on my stand as well. They stood up okay. Wasn't perfect because they're just on regular paper. They're not on cardstock, so they kind of bent a little bit. Trying to think of what else. There were loads and loads of snacks. So you'll want to bring like your favorite snacks to share. I'm trying to look through my bag to see if there's anything else I'm missing. I think that was it. The rest of the stuff that's in my bag is haul. I did bring my earbuds. I like to listen to music every now and then to kind of keep me focused. But people like to just chat and converse. So I didn't find I needed it a lot of the times because I was talking with other people. But I do like to have that just in case when it's quiet and everyone's really focused. Then I can put my earbud in, and that kind of helps me to focus too. So again, I'll go through everything. Light box, if you're working on black, or if you have trouble seeing the stitching the holes. This is really helpful. A lap frame. This is perfect for, woo, I did not have it tightened. This is perfect for anything, hoop, Q-snap, scroll rod, all of the above. I could set it on the table or on my lap. So that, external battery packs, bring a few, especially if you like to share, bring a few. A light, just in case, you never know when you might need more light, especially if it's your first time at the retreat. You don't know what kind of lighting it is, if it's good for you. The bare bones retreat that I went to, the room was pretty well lit, so I didn't need the light. But the one that I attended in Palm Bay, the light was really good there too, but I still needed a little extra, so I have that one. The halo bolt, it's good, but it wasn't my favorite. I did not like how fast it died. I'm not sure if that's like just the one that I got kind of thing, and I need to write them and be like, hey, this didn't last even a day, or if that's like typical. So if you know, let me know, because I ended up charging it, I don't know, we got down there at like 9:45, and I think someone plugged in a little mini fan to the actual plug-in, and it lasted maybe until 2, and then we had to stick it on the charger. So if that's normal, then no biggie. I did like that I had an actual outlet plug on it, because otherwise she wouldn't have been able to use her fan. So that is a nice feature. It just didn't last as long as using the USBs in the external battery packs. And then of course your projects, a tablet stand or pattern stand of some sort. A lot of people who were using paper patterns had one of those magnetic stands that, you know, you can put the magnetic ruler and keep your line. And I think that was about it. So I'm gonna do a whole separate video about how the retreat went. We only went Friday and Saturday, so I'm gonna go through like what those 2 days looked like for us at the Bare Bones retreat. And then I'm gonna have a whole separate floss tube. And I probably will mention the retreat a little bit, but it won't be as detailed as like my retreat recap video that I plan on doing. So I hope this was helpful. I will list some bullet points at the end of the video just to kind of recap my top products that I used, and I will link everything in the description. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a great day. So in love. Bye.